Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
His House, a new movie out on Netflix, horror movie. I, self-proclaimed, not a big horror fan. However, the preview for this just looks super interesting. It's about a couple who are refugees. They're fleeing their home country of South Sudan, a war-torn South Sudan, seeking asylum in England, and they're given a place to live, and all hell breaks loose in some ways, in some literal ways in this. It's one of those descent into madness types of horror movies. Which I'm not necessarily a big fan of that genre, that sub-genre of horror film. It's very uneasy. But this one was different because it was framed in a lens that was new and fresh and different. Most horror movies tend to, if they have a supernatural element to them, a lot of the times, at least United States, Western horror movies tend to use the Christian religion, mythology, as it were, as the kind of universe that the movie is set in which you have to believe in that stuff to be scared. This one, because they are refugees from Sudan, of course, there is none of the Christian religion in this movie, which I am very thankful for and happy about. But because of that, it's just it's more of like just old stories that they've heard, and like things that have happened. It frames the craziness in a way that I am able to get on board in ways that I would not be able to if I have to believe in like the devil and demons or angels or God, the Christian quote unquote God. So they're given this apartment. Like it's this tough process where the England is giving them a place to live. They're giving them a specific amount of money per week or per month. They're not allowed to work. They're not allowed to supplement their income in any way. They can't. There's a lot of things when they first move into the apartment. The guy's kind of breaking down the rules, and they're like, you can't have any friends, you can't have any parties, you can't have any board games, you can't have any boards, you can't have any games. Like, you can't like do anything in this. No candles, just all this stuff. And of course, the apartment is trash, right? The front door falls off the hinges. There's holes in the wall. The wallpaper's peeled off in parts. You got electrical that doesn't really work. So the place is kind of spooky anyway, but they make it a point to say how large the place is and how most refugees are given a much smaller place where they have to live with other refugees. So it's like it's supposed to be highlighted as being a benefit to be living in such a dirt hole. And of course, the front of the apartment is all just full of garbage and like used mattresses and just like trash. And then they kind of try and settle in. It shows them. It mostly takes place inside of the apartment. There's a couple times where the husband and or wife, they go out on the town. Like the wife goes to a doctor's appointment. The husband goes to where does he go? He goes to like a store, and he finds there's a church that donated a bunch of stuff to them. But it's not much of that. It does, like, there are spooky moments. There's things like when the woman goes out to go to the doctor's appointment, she's given a hand-drawn map to find the place, and of course she gets lost. But it's one of those situations where it feels like you're in a maze, where she's like, she can't find the place. Just kind of weird things obviously start happening. It's pretty, like, everything that happens is like something you've seen in other movies that are similar, where it's like this haunted house kind of a thing, or like weird things start to happen. But because it's framed in a way, it's like you can understand that this couple would have a massive amount of PTSD from not only just like what life was like in South Sudan, but also, the kind of the trip from that area to even be able to potentially get asylum in England. And they have this daughter that, like, there are flashbacks to them kind of fleeing and things like that, and something happened. Like, it doesn't show a lot in the flashbacks. It shows just enough to kind of give you an idea of like how torturous this journey was. So you can understand that they have PTSD from not only that, but also losing their daughter, which is something that, like, they don't show the thing, but there's a point at which all these refugees pile into this kind of a small boat. And then something happens with the motor, and then cuts to a bunch of people are in the water. Um, it's just like very heartbreaking. So you can understand like how the mental of dealing with all of that could cause, and being in a new place and kind of living in this, like, not only just England, but like in this apartment that's like bigger than even people in England are used to. Like, all the caseworkers and things like that keep mentioning how large the apartment is. And so it's like you can understand the not only fish out of water thing, but also the PTSD, how, like, you know, hearing voices and seeing things could almost be pretty commonplace for most people. Like, you don't have to jump into some kind of mythical land of ghouls and goblins to kind of feel the pain of what they're going through. But yeah, it's a movie that's not only because it's framed in that way, but also the end of the movie. I don't want to spoil it. It's I really enjoyed it. Let me say that. So if you like horror movies, if you are kind of into the descent into madness kind of a movie, it's really well made. Great acting. Great writing. The editing's great, and it wraps up nice at the end. Like, so many movies would have ended it like 10 minutes earlier, and it would have been so left so open-ended that I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. So the end was wrapped it up in a way and kind of explained things in a way that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the end of this movie. I was kind of surprised because even while watching the movie, I was expecting certain things that just tend to happen in these types of movies that I just wouldn't like. I kept waiting for myself to kind of be over it, and I never was. And it got good, and it's like it never got too crazy to where you lose track of the reality that you're in. Like, there's parts of like The Shining or movies like that where they get David Lynch movies where it just takes a sharp turn somewhere in the middle, and then like nothing makes sense, and it's just you're seeing imagery that really has no place or not really. It doesn't really feel like it's trying to actually communicate anything. It almost looks like random imagery just to kind of frighten you. So yeah, this one I didn't feel did that, and it wasn't the other end of the spectrum where it's like spoon feeding you and there's like exposition explaining stuff. Like, there's still things in this movie, even though I felt it wrapped up nicely, that you could almost go back and rewatch and like reanalyze what different things mean. But there's something that happens. There's a reveal that happens, a twist involving the daughter that's crazy, that really explains a lot. And it's a moment that I wasn't expecting. Like, I almost felt it coming, but like I didn't know the specifics, and when it shows you the specifics on it, it really even more kind of makes it almost grounds the fact that these crazy things are happening even more. So I loved it. Check it out. It's on Netflix. His House. I know horror movies, October is over, Halloween's over, but man, it was good. It was a good one, and I'm really enjoying and it's all in English, so there's not. I mean, there are some subtitles, but I'm really enjoying watching a lot of these foreign movies foreign films, not just horror films, although most of them have been, but just actually, yeah, I really enjoyed watching all these horror films, foreign horror films, because they all frame the horror in a way that I can buy into a lot more than just kind of your standard American production of a horror film. Make sure you support our sponsor, Amazon Prime. Get yourself 30 days free of Amazon Prime. It's the service that keeps on giving, whether you want to stream movies, TV shows with Amazon Prime, all the movies and TV shows that are available there, or you want to borrow Kindle books. Maybe you're into reading. Borrow some Kindle books. Get your read on. Or let's say you like music. You can listen to unlimited music with Amazon Music. All through the Prime service. Get your 30 days free of Amazon Prime, signing up now through my link, inspireddisorder.com/prime. And of course, you get your free 2-day shipping along with all of the other benefits. inspireddisorder.com/prime. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!